What's up guys, Rust Daddy here. Resources play an important part in Rust. Being able to generate metal and sulfur quickly and efficiently sometimes allow one to tip the odds to one's advantage and prevail. At an early game, a small furnace is a great source of cooked resources that can generate a steady stream of metal and sulfur. In comparison, some quick maps provided in Lewis and Knight's Ultimate Furnace Guide shows that the large furnace output depends on the loadout and can be almost 5 times more efficient. This means that whether you're a solo player or playing in a group, it is worth having a couple of large furnaces running. Herewith, in the light of recent changes that brought us triangle floor frames and grills and allow for more compact placement of large furnaces, I set out to find the most optimal furnace-based design. After experimenting with several different designs, I finally came to a conclusion that triangle frames and grills are not well justified due to added build and upkeep costs, and ended up with an all-square furnace-based design that I call the Harvester. The base is divided into 2 furnace chambers and is equipped with a total of 4 large furnaces, 2 loot rooms, auto turrets, and plenty of space for auto deployables. Unlike standard furnace-based designs, the Harvester does not have exposed foundations and instead relies on stability mechanics to support the side and center walls. For this reason, the footprint does require relatively flat or slightly concave ground. Nonetheless, it is definitely worth considering should the circumstances allow. So without further ado, let's proceed to the build. For optimal outcome, find a suitable piece of land and place down the following footprint. The goal here is to have these wall sockets as close to the ground as possible, so if you struggle placing the foundations as shown, try alternating them to create the required sockets. You can break a part of the twig for now and then proceed shaping the first furnace chamber. Place down a metal triangle in the middle and surround it with 2 metal walls and a triangle tile on top. Once done, place a TC inside and close it with a stone window frame fitted with reinforced glass window, and then proceed shaping the mid-wall. Place 3 levels of walls as shown and upgrade them to stone for now. You can place twig tiles above the TC room and use it as a scaffold to reach and upgrade the topmost walls. Once done, upgrade the 2 raised foundations to metal and place stone wall frames on the proximal edges. Eventually, both frames should be fitted with garage doors. The left raised foundation will eventually house the first loot room. You can build it right away, but leave the shelf out for the time being. Now place stone walls on top of the frames and proceed forming the side flaps by placing 2 walls and a half wall on the left and right outermost foundations as shown. To place the high external stone walls, use the middlemost foundation as a guide to align the wall, making sure that the blueprint outline of the wall barely sticks into the foundation on the flap, leaving a small gap in between the structures. Now use the same technique to place the second wall on the other side and then proceed sealing the roof. To that end, extend the twig scaffold with a row of tiles, climb on top and build a layer of floor frames and grills as shown. Then follow up with 1 more layer of frames, seal the resulting side gap with half walls, and lastly fit the frames with grills to finally complete the first chamber shell. You can now break the twig scaffold and remaining twig foundations inside the base and reinforce the TC by placing an additional metal triangle with a stone wall and a window frame fitted with reinforced glass window in front. When placing the first furnace, make sure that its distal foot is as close and flush to the side flap as possible. If placed correctly, the proximal foot should not exceed the midline and there should now be plenty of space to place the second large furnace. Note however that it may take some time to find the correct angle. Lastly, place boxes or other deployables in the remaining empty spaces to allow easier movement around the large furnaces and fill the loot room with containers of your choosing. With the 2 large furnaces up and running, it is now up to you to decide how to proceed with the build. If you do not require additional furnaces, make a simple airlocked entrance to complete the build. In addition to that, consider upgrading the 2 walls of the flaps and the topmost walls of the mid-wall to metal to discourage self-side picking. Alternatively, swap the topmost walls with half walls instead. If you have decided to proceed however, upgrade the entire mid-wall, rotate it and then start by forming the entrance. Place a raised metal foundation to the right and then enclose the 2 square foundations with stone window frames, a doorway on the left, and a wall frame in the middle. You can fit the window frames with reinforced glass windows and wooden shutters on the inside and then form an airlock by fitting a sheet metal door and a double door in their respective slots. In addition to that, place a wall frame and a garage door for an entrance into the second furnace chamber and then finally seal the roof. Once done, place down the remainder of the footprint and build the second furnace chamber as previously described. Just as before, fill the remaining space with deployables and form a loot room at the far end of the chamber. To prevent easy picking, upgrade and flip the wall between the two loot rooms. And then lastly, place a stone barricade or stairs in front of the entrance for easier access. The furnace base is now fully built, and the only thing that is left to do is to reinforce it with auto turrets and additional upgrades. For one, to account for splash damage, consider upgrading the entire loot room shell and the TC anti-room to metal. In addition to that, you can place auto turrets atop the TC room to protect the large furnaces. To power the turrets, stack 3 or more solar panels on top of the base. This method still works and does not result in any power generation loss. The solar panels may be combined and fed into a large battery that fits perfectly in the TC anti-room. Here you can place most of the electrical components to set up the following circuit. The same circuit is powerful enough to run additional appliances such as automatic lights and even a set of igniters for automating the large furnaces. In this example, I have also included a sprinkler system for ultimate convenience and control. Please note that if you do not have high external stone wall blueprint, or you're not too eager to use the walls for sealing the chambers, for an extra 1,000 stones a day, consider the following alternative. In this version, even the backs of the chambers are sealed with regular walls, where you can form an extra loot or utility room on the raised metal foundation in the middle. And there you have it, a relatively secure, efficient and powerful furnace base for optimal resource generation. So if you like what you saw, do not forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And whether you did or didn't enjoy the video, please do leave a comment in the comment section below, as I would really like to know what you think. This was Rust Daddy, and may the next wipe be ever in your favor.